in. Um, it is day 2 of the High Performance Sales Workshop. Today we are talking about activating high intent conversations. So how are we getting actual real buyers into guiding them into a clean, confident decision without having to pressure, persuade, as Anne says, put your boxing gloves on and like force them to work with you, right? That's not how we want to feel. So that is what we're diving in today. Drop in the chat, where are you located? What do you do and who you help? And what's one thing that you really want to learn this week? We would love to hear from you guys. We really are tailoring this to the room. So hit reply on the email if you're watching this on replay. If you're here with us live, let us know. Where are you located? What do you do and who do you help? And what is something you really want to learn this week? For those of you who do not know me, my name is Sydney Berletich. I am the lead coach inside of Sales Academy, right alongside Anne. I'm the success coach. So my literal job is to make sure those of you who join us inside of Sales Academy feel supported, are plugged into where they need to be inside of the curriculum. I help Anne create your sales blitz and your game plans when you onboard with us. And then if you're in our VIP package, I'm your accountability coach. You get a private chat channel, a private portal with me, and you can lean on me privately. You can lean on me in the support community, basically just here to support in between the coaching calls. That is all for now. Let me see if we have anybody in the chat. Tanya, I'd love to hear from you. Who are you? What you do? Where are you from? You look like you're in like a busy, are you in an office space, a library? I don't know. I was just thinking like how fun it is to go work somewhere. To like get out of bed.
Pretend we have real jobs.
Yeah. I always say like, oh, it'd be so fun to like be in corporate for like a week and like dress up.
Yeah, then we want to go back home where we can get.
And then after a week, I'd be like, okay, I'm done with this. Take me back home. Okay.
Super fun.
Oh,
Yeah, we have a
beautiful.
little bit of fun like this, you guys, when we get
I
into
was located in New York. Awesome. What part of New York are you in? My mom's side of the family is from Buffalo area.
Oh, cool.
Okay,
So
very
cool.
cool. Very cool. You help
Nice.
companies develop leadership workshop using menstrual cycle awareness, leadership strategies
That's so good.
for a more inclusive workplace for women and women executives as a career and life coach using menstrual cycle planning to boost productivity by 30%. That's really
I love that
cool.
because I take
Teach
the
me.
CEO
Yeah.
week off according because it
Your
aligns
cycle.
with my cycle and I don't work during that week. How cool.
Yeah.
I love that you do that. So cool because I'm all about like everything needs to go around the cycle because
working with your body.
Work your best. Yeah. You got to work with that. I love it. Oh my gosh.
Very cool.
Okay, we could even learn a lot from you. Okay, very, very cool. I love this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Session 2, day 2. We have one more day to go after today, but I promise all 3 days are just going to be phenomenal. Okay, yesterday we dove into buyers list, right? I got so many emails, so many DMs from you guys tuning into the replay about what you thought a buyer's list was, what it actually is. So many of you guys were like running around the social media and just trying to find leads and then not being able to organize and track them and know who you're talking to and not knowing who your buyers are. So I got a lot of great feedback that people are understanding the value of why I recommend a buyer's list and understanding how that is going to boost your productivity, right? Because if you're chasing leads around the internet saying who, what, where, when is my next sale coming, you could be doing that 8, 10, 12, 14 plus hours a day trying to do that. And at the end of the day, there's no sale, there's no conversation. We've been hearing that from a lot of people. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But at the end of the day, I'm not seeing sales. So at the end of the day, I don't see my efforts paying off, right? And so a lot of you guys are understanding how having that buyer's list, this dedicated, cherry-picked, hand-selected list of people and humans that you're saying, this is the people I'm going to work. I'm going to focus on these people. I'm going to nurture these people. I'm going to go deep with these people. My focus from the start of the day to the end of the day is going to be on these people. Pulling yourself off social media, getting into that centralized place where you are in full control of your sales, your conversations, your time, your energy, You're able to protect your space and your energy with a buyer's list because you're choosing selectively who gets your attention, right? Which is what I love, because there's nothing more devastating than being in a business, running a business, and having amazing like numbers of conversations each day, but the quality of them doesn't align, right? So you're talking to all these people, but you're like, oh, these aren't the people. And then you feel really devastated because it's like, I just spent 8 hours today doing that, or 4 hours, even an hour. Time is money, money loves speed, right? So we have to be productive. Buyer's list solves that problem, nips it right in the butt. But what do you do with those people on that buyer's list? And that's what everyone is asking. Like, this is great, got the concept of why it's important to have a buyer's list and the idea of that. But like, as you're adding people to that list, what do you do with those people, right? And that's what I want to get into today is once you start adding people. So we had everybody add 10 people. We got some emails and some DMs that some of you guys have added 30. We had someone add 50 yesterday. I'm like, go, you go. Like, that's amazing. So we're having everybody, but we asked everybody, like, can you just add like 5 or 10 people? Pick a spot where you think you might have 5 or 10 people. You might not even know if they're the right people, but you can find 5 or 10 people, stick them on that buyer's list. That's a start, right? We got to start somewhere. And then today, what I want to do is walk you guys through what are we doing with these people that is going to activate those people getting into a conversation with you, and not a BFF, hey girl conversation. Not like a love your stuff, love your style, hey girl, we are friends. Not that kind of combo. A conversation of, wow, this was so good. Or hey, that got my attention. Or hey, I felt this when you said this. I'm actually really curious about how you help your clients do blank. I really would love to know more about what that process would look like. And getting people in conversation who already have buyer awareness and buyer readiness, where it's not about if they're going to invest in this solution, it's are they going to do it with you? And they're really coming in to find that out. That is a much better conversation than being down in the weeds, being like, how can I get you to see the value? How can I get you to understand the importance of this? How can I get you, right? Like, it's a different type of energy when you have people in conversations with you who genuinely want to be there. Like, they literally want to know, how could you help me? So what I want to do is walk you guys through. There's going to be 2 parts. For those of you, though, real quick, that might be new here, you don't know me, my name is Ann Strout. I have been a high-ticket seller for about 25 years. That's how I actually got started, is I started out as a high-ticket seller myself. I worked for huge names like Rich Lippman, Gina DeVee, David Nagel, Kelly Roach, Heather, Kathy Heller. Big names. I have worked for all of them, either in their sales campaigns or training their sales teams. But I have been behind the scenes of high ticket selling and doing them myself for 25 years now. And then I moved into my own business because that made logical sense, right? So here we are. And this is all I've done. I've helped thousands and thousands of people go to 6 and 7 figures in either a seller role or in a CEO coach role, where they are responsible for their own sales. It's all I do. It's all I know. It's my entire everyday study. It's what I'm most passionate about. And yes, I believe that I do it different and better than anybody else. Not that I'm better, but just that the way that I do it, it's unparalleled. So I love bringing my unique ways to you guys. So here's what I want to talk about today. I'm going to actually cover 2 things today because I really want to help you guys fully understand the market shift and how we have to activate buyers today. Like, as you're putting people on that buyer's list, I don't want you guys to spend weeks, months, years trying to get people over the finish line. In today's market, across every niche, cold leads take anywhere from 4 to 6 months to convert on average. Even 7 and 8 figure clients of mine are seeing that. So across the board, about 4 to 6 months on average for a cold lead to pay you. Or anywhere from like 8 to 10 hours of top of mind content. So meaning you're plugging them into content that is exactly, specifically what they're looking for to solve the problem that they're literally looking to solve right now. So that means we can't just post what we're thinking or what we're excited about. It has to be exactly what's going to shift their mind and get them thinking different and get them buyer ready. If you're not talking to them, you're not going to know that. right? So you're really risking even putting out content if you don't even know if it's exactly what your audience wants, because we haven't talked with them, so we haven't got their language, right? Okay, so we do want to talk about how we need to be conducting conversations and touch points to move those leads in order to get people in what we call buyer decision readiness mode, right? They're actively looking to invest to solve a problem. So one thing that's important is they're not looking to invest in your offer. They're not looking to invest in you. They're not looking to invest in your program. They're looking to invest in a solution to a problem they're actively looking to solve. So they also have to want to solve it, right? We're going to talk about that a little bit today because that's a huge shift right there, right? In this market today, people want to just not buy in those types of things. That's what they bought years ago. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I want to walk you through how I used to sell, and then we're going to get into how we sell now today because of the way that the market has shifted. You can probably relate to this, but I used to be the type who would get up really early in the morning. I wouldn't brush my teeth. I wouldn't eat breakfast. I wouldn't take care of myself. I wouldn't do anything. I just got right to my computer, right to my phone, scrolling social media, scouring the internet for leads, looking for any opportunity to hopefully close a sale today, and just kind of running ragged across the platforms, right? I was scrolling all day aimlessly, randomly, just trying to figure out, like, how can I get a sale today? I didn't have a strategy. I didn't have a system. I didn't really have a way. If someone asked me, hey, how did you get a client? I wouldn't really be able to tell you. I would say, I don't know exactly what I did, but I know a bunch of things that I did, and something within that list created that sale, but I couldn't tell you what it was. That really sucks because when you're in that type of sales mode, you can't replicate it. You can't double down on what works to put rocket fuel under it and make it work better and eliminate what's not working because you really don't know which one is and isn't. You just know you're collectively doing a lot of things each day. Something is doing something, but I don't really know. That was me for 5 years, which is why even though I was able to generate some sales, I wasn't able to generate more sales. I wasn't able to do it consistently. I wasn't able to say, this is the thing. I need to double down on this and get rid of this stuff. I wasn't able to do that. So I worked 80 hours a week, maybe made $2,000 a month at best. I mean, that was an 80-hour week, a hustle grind. Like that month I must have worked really hard, right? And that was like by chance because I didn't really know what I was doing. I was exhausted. I was a single mom doing that. And I would show up, I would give value, what I thought was value. I'd tell everybody what I do. Here's what I do. Here's what I'm good at. Here's what I. This is my program, my offer, my. I would do a whole lot of that. And I'm like, why are people not buying this offer? I've talked so much about it. I have told everybody everything they need to know about my offer and about how I am so good at what I do. What's the problem, right? I couldn't wrap my head around it for the life of me. It took me 5 years to realize nobody cares about you and nobody cares about your offer, Anne, and that's why they're not buying it. And it took me so long to get that. And I see this with almost every client that joins our sales academy. They're kind of in that place of like, ooh, it's kind of what I do, right? Because we don't know what we don't know. And also, you could get sales that way a few years ago. Like that did actually work. People would do it. But I didn't know what I didn't know. And so what I found was happening is there are 3 parts of the brain. This is kind of a geeky thing, but I promise you it relates to sales. There are 3 parts of the brain that are going to activate when you're having a sales conversation. And the way that these 3 parts of the brain turn on and activate, so basically they join the conversation. There's an order that those need to be talked to, because there's an order that all of our brains have been wired to operate in a specific manner. I'm going to walk you guys through that today. That's one thing I'm going to show you, because I promise you, when you understand it, you'll be like, oh my gosh, okay, that makes total sense, right? But I want to help you understand that, because when you're in a sales conversation, there are default settings that are happening in someone else's mind, things that they're thinking, things that they're feeling, things they're analyzing. And they're doing that in a specific order because it's how our brains are wired to do it. And so everybody's brain is doing this in this order. And when you're talking, whatever you're saying and how you're saying it is going to speak and activate certain parts of their brain. And if it's in a messy order and it's sloppy and back and forth and all over, the brain is like a ping pong. And what happens is people are like, whoa, whoa. And they withdraw and they get resistance and they have objections and they freak out. Brain goes into fight or flight and boom, natural instincts kick off, right? When you know how to talk to those three parts of the brain in the right order, it's a smooth sailing conversation. And everything that you're saying makes logical sense to the brain, and the person's nervous system is not activated. They're relaxed, they're calm, they actually feel like we're having a two-way conversation with someone we know, like, and trust, versus, oh my God, you have your boxing gloves on, you've got me in this boxing ring, I'm in the corner, and you're jabbing my throat for the sale, and I'm freaking out, I can't do it. And my motto is take off your boxing gloves, get out of the ring, and stop fighting for sales. It is not how people are buying in this market. It doesn't feel good to anybody. And most people are doing it unintentionally because of how we've always been taught to sell. Sales has always had a yucky kind of vibe to it. It's always a sales saga type of thing. People always think selling is doing something to somebody, like I'm taking something from you, I'm doing something to you. And we've just been conditioned to think and do and be sales in a way that just does not work with the human brain and how we want to feel as humans when we are deciding on our own if we would like to make a decision, and you're being forced and manipulated and persuaded and guilted into making that decision. It doesn't work with today's economy. People, their nervous systems are at an all-time high. They don't have the capacity right now mentally to take on a ton of information and make these rapid fire decisions. People want to feel at peace. We want to feel calm. We want to feel heard. We want sisterhood. There's a lot of things that people want today, and we're in a trust recession. Due to all of the things over the past few years that have gone on in the online space, we're just getting scammed and all the spam bots and people making all these investments with people that were selling things they had no business selling, and people getting burnt. With all of that, the trust is at an all-time low, which creates longer conversion times. The faster you can build trust, the faster your sales will happen. And it'll happen in a way where people are like, thank you for taking my money, letting me in. I'm excited, I can't wait. And that's a whole different energy. People need to feel like they made their decision, right? Nobody wants to feel like, oh, you made me feel like shit and that's why I did it, right? Like, you made me feel bad. I felt guilty after talking to you. Like, I felt like I had no other choice, that kind of stuff. It's all going to be, and unfortunately, it is how we've been trained in sales, right? So we don't know, you don't know what you don't know. And so a lot of people are unintentionally and maybe not even aware selling this way. And it's actually pushing sales away. Even in content, people that aren't even having a conversation, they're creating content. The content carries that energy and that vibe, and people are just pulling back. Like, they're just like not taking the action, right? So we teach you much different in Sales Academy with how to generate sales. It's never a strategy. It's never about the strategy. Every strategy you ever execute will work like a charm when you know how to speak to a potential person inside of a buyer decision conversation. That's the goal, right? Okay, so I'm gonna talk about two parts today for you guys. There are a few parts to what we call in Sales Academy our cold to client cycle. The cold to client cycle is the actual things that we do to take a cold lead, turn it into a paying client, move them through a certain process. And it's a combination of touch points, actions, content. So it's a few things, right? And infused in all of that is the buyer psychology. It's the human behaviors, the brain science infused into all those touch points, as well as the things we're saying to people. There's a little bit of a process, because what we like to do in Sales Academy is look at how to cut that conversion time down big time, right? Like, we do not want leads taking 4 to 6 months to convert, 8 to 10 hours of content. Like, we want people that feel like, I don't need all that from you. Like, I just need you to hear you say the right things, and I'm in, I'm ready, I got it. And we really want leads that are not really communicating too much, but they're coming to us when they're ready to buy. So they're silent stalkers, and they're not going to come waste your time. They're not going to dabble in the DMs with you for days. What they're going to do is they're going to be like, hey, watched a couple of your things, checked out a podcast, checked out of this, or whatever, caught a couple of replays. loving what you're doing. I think it's exactly what I need. Can we talk about it? What's the next steps? How do I join? That is way better conversations than the latter, right? So there's 2 parts out of, I don't know, maybe a 3-part, because we're not going to talk too much about content today, which is another kind of part. We have a strategy called You're Welcome content. And the You're Welcome is backed by human behavior. It's a very specific structure of how you write every single piece of content that works with how someone would think to move them in that buy-in process. And the goal of it is when you're done writing it, the only thing you feel like in your body is you're welcome, right? Because it feels so good, so aligned, so solid. It's like, you're welcome. It was powerful, simply said, but powerful. And so that's the idea, because I used to create a lot of content. We used to have one piece go out every hour on multiple platforms, and I still didn't generate more sales from it. And I used to feel like I was just creating content for the sake of it. And then actually I couldn't even think of what to say anymore because I was so withdrawn from my own self and like what I taught. And that's where I came up with the You're Welcome content. Is when I say something, I want to mean it or I'm not saying it. And so I need content that feels really good, like that was on my heart today and that's why I said it type of content. And that type of content speaks to people. That energy, when you write like that, it just attracts people naturally. You don't need to get you don't have to have jargon. You don't need to write a lot. You don't need to say a lot of things. A lot of people overcompensate in their content where they feel like they need to explain every word and break everything down and share all the things. And it's more your own insecurity. It's like you're not aligned with what you really want to say. You should be able to say it in a few words and it's powerful, right? So we do have a content strategy that we couple with your Code the Client cycle, because content is one way that we do bring in high quality conversations, but it's not the way, it's not the main way. If you had to make money in sales today, I wouldn't say go create content. That's not what I would have you do. But that content is a great thing to be doing on a regular basis. We do about 1 piece a day, maybe 3 or 4 a week at most, like 1 at most a day. And it's very intentional, it's very specific, it's very strategic, and it has one goal: book me high quality conversations. And we're not pitching, and we're not selling, and we're not dropping links. It's just a really good strategy. Today on this session, I'm going to share with you, the first thing I'm going to share with you is the 5 qualifying markers that must exist in every conversation in order for a sale to take place. So when you're talking to someone, you want to look for these 5 things. If they don't have them, they are not ready to buy. So you wouldn't want to put them in a sales conversation because they're not going to buy. And you wouldn't want to be down in the weeds trying to get them there, right? There might need to be some other steps that need to take place to get them ready. And these 5 things are going to help you guys tremendously. The second thing I'll share with you after that is going to be the geeky brain science. I'm going to just walk you through quickly the 3 parts of the brain that you have to activate. You got to talk to these in this order inside of every sales conversation. But I'm going to show you how to simply do this. It's very, very easy. You'll be able to look at what you're doing now and be like, oh, okay, that's simple. Move these couple things around, take that out. Very easy, right? So the first thing I want to share is let's talk about the 5 qualifying markers. You guys can write these down. These are really good just so you have these as kind of a guide and a reference. Inside Sales Academy, we give you all of this, and it's actually part of the systems and frameworks we have you set up as soon as you join, so that if you're in conversations right now, you can start applying this today. Okay, so the first qualifying marker that you got to make sure that they have is problem awareness. Problem awareness is number 1. If you are talking to someone that is not aware or they don't believe they have a problem, what are you going to sell them? Because you can't sell a solution to someone who's like, I don't have a problem, I'm fine. You will have people that you'll talk to who aren't reaching the goals, they're not getting the results they want, but they will also tell you, no, yeah, I'm good. Like, I'm just going to keep trucking along. Like, they're not ready to solve the problem yet. They don't see it as big or risky enough. There are probably a big percent in all of our audiences where that's the mindset of the person. And what that means is nothing to do with you. So we don't lower prices, we don't discount, we don't negotiate, we don't beg, we don't convince. This is not a you thing. This is that their problem isn't big enough or risky enough where they feel, oh my God, I gotta fix this. Think about marriages. How many people, I did this. I stayed in the unhealthiest marriage. I just got divorced like 9 months ago. Sold my house, moved into a rental. I just needed to I had to have a break from that day in, day out. But I sat in an unhealthy marriage for 20 years. And even though this isn't what I want, this isn't working for me, this doesn't feel, you still sit there. You still sit there, right? You make all these excuses and justifications. People do that with everything, right? Oh my God, my car keeps breaking down. I know I need a new car. Just like, I do it right now. And even if a car dealership guy said, hey, we have a new car that will actually run, you're like, oh, not right now. I'm so busy with, right? So there's a big part of your audience that are going to have the problem that you solve, but they are not ready yet. They don't see it as, it's not a big enough problem, right? It's kind of like that. What is the saying? Like, most people don't get help until they're really, really sick and they have no choice. Right? So that's the first thing. Like, is this person aware? Like, are they telling you, oh my gosh, I have this problem. I have this gap. I have this obstacle. I have this goal I just can't seem to reach no matter what I do. Like, are they expressing verbally to you in the conversation, they are aware they have a problem? Like, something clearly isn't working. So that has to exist. Okay. The second qualifying marker is solution awareness. Once they can verbalize they have a problem, the solution awareness is 2 parts. Okay. And really the buyer awareness is 2 parts, because it's like, do you believe you, like, are you aware that you have a problem, and do you also see it as big enough to maybe solve it? But solution awareness is 2 things as well, because part of it is, are you, seeking a solution? Like, are you in the market looking to solve this problem? That's one part. They should be able to verbalize, like, yeah, I've made some investments in this type of coaching, or I've gone, I've done these things and I've invested in these things. I've been trying these things. They should be able to verbally tell you they've been doing some of those things. Like, yes, I have tried or have been trying to reach a goal, solve a problem, right? That's one part. The other part, though, is, do they believe that you have the solution they're looking for or that they need? So you will talk to people that are actively investing time, money, and energy to try to reach a goal or solve a problem. And then when you put the solution in front of them, they don't buy from you. They give you an objection. And a lot of the times we'll blame the lead, we'll blame the person. They're not ready, they're not committed, their money stuff, blah, blah, whatever. But sometimes it's that they don't understand or they don't believe that you have the actual way for me to solve it. And a lot of times it's the communication. It's however you've articulated what you do. They're not seeing it. It's not clicking for them, like, oh my God, I need that. And a lot of the times it's because we talk about I and me and my offer and my bonuses and the discounts and the features, and we don't personalize. So people are like, wait, what exactly are you selling? What would I get? What would we be doing? I don't understand, right? So a lot of this situation right here in this level of awareness is, they do know they have a problem. They have invested time, money, and energy to try to either solve the problem or reach the goal. And when you put the solution in front of them, how you articulate that and how you communicate that to them is going to be the defining factor if they spend that money with you or they spend it with someone else, because they will invest. They will buy one way or another to solve a problem, reach a goal. It's just a matter of, is it with you? So the 2 things that you want to make sure with that solution awareness is, they're expressing to you that they think or believe that you might have what they need. You might have a way to help them. You might be able to support me. I think I'd like to know more about you, or I'd like to register for your workshop. I'd like to get into your content. They're expressing and showing you they're curious about how you might be able to help them do this. They don't need to say, I want to buy your offer specifically, but they're expressing to you, and you can see, okay, they're pondering on this, they're looking into it, they're definitely lurking and checking it out. You want to see that, because if they don't have that, even if you say, come on, it's $5,000 off, they're still not going to do it. And we have clients that will come back and say, my offer was this much, and I sold them a lower ticket offer and they still didn't buy. And my thing is, because it's not about the money. people will find the money to pay for something if they think it's going to help them accomplish a certain thing, right? Like if they really want to solve the thing and they really think you can help them and they really see getting the result by doing what you're telling them, they're going to go find the money. The money is not ever really the issue. Money is everywhere. It's energy. It's all over the place. We could find that and tap into it. I did it on welfare. Like I totally believe that, coming from complete poverty and broke, right? But they have to want that and believe it's worth doing that for you. They'll do it for that dress, right? They'll do it for the Louis Vuitton bag. They'll do it for the five-star hotel. They'll do it to go out and drink with their girlfriends because those things matter to them and they know what they're going to get out of it. Okay. All right, the third qualifying marker is decision readiness. And so in my world, in sales and in Sales Academy, we always remind you guys, a decision is yes or no. That's a decision. Undecisiveness is maybe sort of kind of need to think about it, got to talk to so-and-so. That is like all the objections, right? A decision is, I have come to a decision. So it's yes or no. It could be, yes, I need to move money around. Yes, I need to wait for this check to clear. Yes, I need to, let me do a quick transfer and move this over here and this over here and I'm in. That could be yes. Yes, I'm going to do it. Or whatever. Or it's no, I just don't see that this is a solution for me right now. Or no, I don't want it right now. Maybe later. But there's a yes or no decision. Nobody is sitting there saying, okay, what do we do from here now? We're all up in the air. How do we follow up? How do we, no one knows, right? That is indecisiveness. A decision for us in Sales Academy, in the high ticket, in the sales space, it's yes or no. So you really want to be looking for people to verbalize to you that they're ready and they're in a position, they have the ability and the willingness to say yes or no. So you'll know that because as you're having conversations with them, they're not giving you a bunch of excuses and objections. They're showing you, oh, I'm convicted in what I'm trying to do. I am all in on my goals. I'm doing whatever. I've made investments. I'm putting in the time. I'm doing the actions. Whether it's right or wrong doesn't matter. Like, I don't care if people coming into Sales Academy are doing the right things. 9 out of 10, you're not, or you'd be there, right? Like, it doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be the right stuff. It's the effort. It's that conviction, that commitment, like, one way or another, and with or without you, I'm doing this. We want to have a conversation with people that have that mindset and energy. If you're talking to someone and they're like, well, I'm not reaching my goals because the algorithm is so sucky today and Facebook keeps changing things and LinkedIn doesn't, no one on LinkedIn wants to respond to my DMs and this doesn't work and nobody's engaging and my kids are driving me crazy and I've been stressed out for 2 months and blah. When you hear all of this, there's not a readiness there. That is not someone that's going to say yes or no. That is someone that's going to be like, this is amazing. I love you. You're amazing. You're awesome. Compliment, compliment. I would love to, but, and they're going to insert a book of reasons. And they're going to start telling, my pool exploded this morning. My kids are sick. I went on a vacation and my car, it broke down. I have no this and oh my God, this failed and my credit cards didn't go through and blah. You know, and you're like, none of this is relevant to what we're talking about right now. That is not what we're looking for. So there has to be verbalization that is showing you this person is mentally, physically, spiritually capable, willing and able to make a decision. They are in the mindset and in the space to be able to confidently, easily say yes or no, right? That's going to be qualifying marker 3 that you want to look for. And then qualifying marker number 4 is going to be desire to change. One thing about our brain that we need to understand, and this is not my brain, your brain, this is the human brain. One of the hardest things in this entire world for the human brain or the person to do is change. We have our ways. We have conditions that are maybe generational. We have generational conditionings, beliefs, thoughts. We have ways that we have created that we secure ourselves, make ourselves feel safe, make ourselves feel comfortable, all of those things. We have our own conditions and patterns. And then the brain is hardwired for certain things, right? You're going to learn this in a minute when we talk about the 3 parts of the brain. It's going to blow your mind. But at the end of the day, someone has to in order to invest and pay you today, like say yes or no, they actually have to have a desire to change. So one thing when someone is thinking about investing, right, they are literally thinking, am I ready to do this? Can I do this? There's people that have come to us and said, Anne, what you do is phenomenal. And I know, if I just came in and I did the things and I followed, I know I would get the results. Like, I believe in what you're doing. Like, I can see it in what I'm doing. I know this is the way. But 100%, I feel like based on my habits and the way that I function, I feel like even if you gave me every step, I would not show up for myself and do the work. Because that's typically how I act. I do this in my life. I do this in all kinds of, and it takes a lot for someone to say that, honestly, right? Like to get there. But what I want you to understand is sometimes this is silently going on in someone's brain where they're like, shit, I know this is it. I know it is, but I'm like scared. Like, what if I just don't show up? What if I just don't do the things? What if I just don't follow them? Or what if I fall into my old habits? Or what if so-and-so, doesn't support me like they never do, and I have all of that, right? So there has to be, for 5 years, I stayed in my situation of welfare. You think that was fun? I had to tell my kids no all the time. I couldn't even buy diapers. Like, it wasn't a good place. And I stayed there for 5 years because I had to want to change. There was people around me that were like, Anne, do this, stop doing that. And all you have to do is this. And look what I have. You can do this. Like, everything around me. I had coaches and mentors that were like, Anne, what are you doing, girl? You have no idea how much people need what you're teaching. Like, why are you not? It didn't matter until I was ready to receive and until I was ready to do the actual work, until I hit my breaking point where I was like, you know what? I can't even afford to do this one more day. There's too much at risk. Until I hit that, it didn't matter what anybody promised me. It didn't matter what anybody said. Nothing mattered. And change is the hardest thing because it's unfamiliar, it's uncertain, it's uncomfortable. These are all against how our brains are wired. Your brain is not wired to be like, yay, uncomfortable, unsafe, unfamiliar, go. No, its only job is to protect you. The brain has one job. That's it. And it doesn't know the difference between good or bad. So it doesn't matter if this is a good decision. If you're freaking out, your brain is going into fight or flight because it's wired to do that. And so when you're having these conversations, you want to look for people that are verbally giving you those cues and they're verbally showing you and expressing to you, this can no longer be. This absolutely, like, last year had to change. And here's why. Here's why it has to be now. Like, we'll ask that. We'll say, well, truth be told, right? Like, you could just keep doing what you're doing for another 6 months. You've already been doing it for 6 months. Why don't you do it for another 6, right? I'll say that to people. I'll say, why don't you just do it for another 6 months? And what I'm doing is I want them to explain to me why they're now ready. Like, what has changed? Because you weren't ready 6 months ago or last week. You're ready now. Why? And they'll explain, because this is on the line, because this, and this. I want these things. I'm ready now. And I realize that I've been doing A, B, and C, and I need to stop. We want them to verbally explain to you they're ready. Because you could go through the whole sales conversation and they could check every box and then get to you and be in freak out mode of fight or flight because they're actually not ready to change. In order for your situation to change, something has to change. We can't, right? Definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result or outcome. It's just not going to happen. And so what we have to do is, if we want a different outcome or result, something has to change. That is scary for the brain because your brain is going to fight you on that. Your brain is going to give you every objection, every tactic it can think of, because that's what its job is. Its job is to protect you, but it doesn't know good, bad, right, wrong. So you have to be ready to change, where when that stuff comes up, you're like, backseat, zip it, backseat, we're doing this. It's not dangerous. I'm not in any danger. It's a good thing. We're going for it. Okay. Not everybody's at that place. Okay. And then the last qualifying marker is the ability to invest. They have to be ready, willing, and able And when you're investing time, money, energy. It isn't just one of those things. You're investing your time because you have to commit to making the changes. You have to commit to showing up in the program for yourself, right? You have to show up to learn the skill and learn the strategy of whatever you're trying to do, just like an athlete has to show up on the field and they got to do the reps or they're not going to get the result, right? They're investing money. So time, money. You got to put the money in, right? There's nothing out there that's free, and there's no big miraculous life thing that's going to happen or impact that's going to come without some kind of money investment, right? In energy meaning you might need to look at your lifestyle and your schedule and your calendar, and you might have to say, hey, because here's the thing, the way that we squash time objections is you got 24 hours a day, I got 24 hours a day, Tony Robbins has 24 hours a day, Oprah Winfrey's got 24 hours a day, every inventor, every human in this world has 24 hours in a day. So if they can all do the things, so can you. You're not going to find time. Nobody has hidden time somewhere. You make the time. And you make time when you're ready, right? So that is the energy piece of like, okay, I am also ready to reorganize or restructure some things around me in my environment to make the energetic, to create extra energy or space to lean into the changes, to the result, to the work. So there's time, money, energy, right? When you grow and you make these investments, you got to carve some space out in your calendar, make time for it. You've got to carve space out with your lifestyle to do the things, right? You might have to ask family or friends for certain types of support. Like, hey, I have my kids take out the trash. I don't want to think about that. When I'm trying to run my business, I don't want to do trash, right? There's certain things that it's like, hey, I need you to do this and you to do this and you to do that. And hey, team, I need you guys to do this. And then I look at my calendar and I carve out space. I take CEO week off to recalibrate. There's things that you have to be willing to do. And also in the beginning, I had to put in a lot more time to speed up my results, to build skill and to build momentum, right? So that I didn't always have to. So they gotta be willing and able to do those things. They also have to have the right mindset, because my mindset is money is everywhere. And if you truly want something, the universe will deliver, it's law, but you have to really want it, right? Like when I was on welfare and was collecting $363 a month in food stamps, I didn't have cash. I didn't have a bank account. I had no money, right? I literally had no money. And I had to say, well, there's got to be a way to do it. I'm just going to have to tap into resources. And I sat down and I wrote a list. What are all the ways that I could find, get, earn, or borrow money? None of them felt good. Every one of them were embarrassing. Every one of them sucked. And I had no idea how I was paying anybody back. I didn't even know if I could. All I knew is I was at a place where I'm going to do whatever this coach tells me to do with everything I've got in me. And I'm going to do it. And I'm going to make the money. I'm going to get it back. I'm going to get my business. I'm going to hit the goals. And I did, because I had that conviction, right? I was coachable. I was ready. And so I found the money. They were sucky ways. Like, they didn't feel good. But I found the money and I made 10K in that 30 days. And I was able to pay everybody back and all the things and like still have a tiny bit left and move forward and continue doing that. I wasn't doing that before, right? So you want to really look at people when you're talking to them. Are they saying things and signaling to you that they're in a space of, this isn't if I'm going to do it. It's what am I going to do today to make it happen? What am I going to move around, shift around, or reach out and do? What resources can I tap into? Versus, let me give you a long list of all my bills and all the excuses, all the things. I'm like, I can't do it right now. And that's really not what we want to be looking for. So in those qualifying markers, do they have the ability, and really do they have the mindset? Do they have the mindset to invest time, money, and energy? Right? You might hear people say, I can do this financially, but like, how much time is this? I don't have time. I'm like, oh, this wouldn't be the time to invest in if you don't have. So you got to pay attention to what people are saying to you, just like they're paying attention to how you're saying stuff to them. You want to listen to how are you saying things to me, because it's really going to show me where you're at. And if they don't have in a sales conversation, if what they're saying to you isn't firing up like love it, love it, love it, love it. If you're seeing red flags, they're going to do that in your program. They're going to behave the same way in your program that they did in the sales conversation. So you have to pay attention to that, because you got to ask yourself, like, do you want people like that in your program? Do you want them making those excuses every time you ask them to do something? Do you want them to say, I can't take an action for 5 weeks because I have to think about everything for weeks and weeks before I can do it? They're going to move really slow. You're going to be chasing them and following up. Like, you have to pay attention to however they behave, and not just what they're saying to you, but how are they saying it? What's the energy carried with what they're saying to you? Because that is exactly how they're going to show up in your program. And that is a lift for you, because it's either going to be a light lift in the coaching or a heavy lift. I like a light lift. I like a lean business. And that means bringing in the right people that are not needy. They're not like, I need you to babysit me. I can't move without this. Like, I want to bring in people that are like, let's freaking go. I have been ready for 2 years for this. Let's go, right? And they're going to move, and they're coachable, and they're going to do the things to get the result. So you also knowing what is required of my people to reach the outcome I say I help them get. And knowing that, inside Sales Academy, we call it your champion client DNA. And we have you create the DNA of a successful person in your program. So what are their characteristics? How do they need to show up? How do they need to be behaving? What are they already doing? What are they already trying? Like, all of those things. What's their mindset? What's their energy? You should have a makeup, like a DNA of the person that wins versus the person that struggles. And that is how you compare these against that when you're in these sales conversations, because you're like, that's one of those red flags. Clients with that don't typically get a good result in the program, right? Like, this is how you start to really refine that. That makes sense, everybody? Okay. Now we're going to move into a little tiny bit of geekiness for you guys, because this is where I want to talk about the brain side of things. When you're having these sales conversations, it isn't some people. It is just the human brain that functions this way. Like, brain science has been my study for 25 years. Every human brain is designed exactly the same way. The only reason we all act, respond, or behave differently, think differently, is because we've done some kind of work to reprogram something, right? To change the way we think or feel about something that somebody else conditioned us to believe, right? That's the only reason why we're not all exactly the same, is because somebody has done some kind of work to change something. And we all have different mechanisms of how we cope. We all have different coping skills and ways we protect ourselves and things like that. So that's what makes us different, but the brain is wired the same. So if you want to, in these conversations, if you really want to have a natural process where it feels like two people at a coffee shop, right? You're with your friend, you guys are at a coffee shop, you're having a back and forth, easy conversation. There's no resistance, there's no awkward weirdness. There's decisions being made. When you speak out of order with the brain, it creates confusion. A confused mind is never going to buy. Never. They will never make a yes or no decision. They're always going to be in a reactive fight or flight mode when you speak to them out of the order in which the brain is functioning for them. So the 3 parts of the brain, I'm going to give you what they are, and then I'm going to give you an example of what this kind of looks like in a conversation. The first part of the brain is the survival. This is that primal, instinctual brain. This is the job of the brain in this part, protect. So all it's doing is protecting you. Right? We see something new, different. Hold on a second. All it's doing, its job is to protect you. And remember, though, it doesn't know the difference between good, bad, right, or wrong. Like, it doesn't understand that. It just knows, oh, this is not normal for us. This is different for us, right? So this part of the brain activates immediately, especially in a sales conversation. But this would do this if you were in a scary situation. If you were in an unfamiliar place and you're like, what was that bang? Instantly, well, that's your survival primal brain speaking right there. That is the first thing that fires off in any situation, because it's the part that's supposed to keep you safe. So it's going to scan really quick, right? Am I safe? Do I feel pressure? Does this feel unfamiliar to us? And if they don't feel safe in the conversation, if they feel unregulated, like, you're not hearing me, you're not getting me, you're pushing me, you're pressuring me, you're making me feel all these things, you're scaring me, or I feel like I'm being forced, I feel like whatever, then nothing you say is going to land for them. It's like bouncing off them. Like, they just can't, what I say is they can't receive it, because they're up here and their active primal brain is in fight or flight. It doesn't matter what you say. Think of it if you've ever had like due to my childhood, I had a lot of trauma and a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of PTSD. And when I was in a moment of a panic, I didn't hear anything anybody said to me. I was freaking out, right? It doesn't matter. Someone could be like, calm down, calm down. You're like, back off. Like you're in fight or flight. You're not listening. You don't even, sometimes you black out, right? Where it's like, oh, I don't even remember doing that or saying that, or I don't even remember how I went from here to here because you weren't present. Your brain was in fight or flight mode, its job, and it was trying to protect you from a situation it thought was unsafe. It may or may not have been, but your brain does not know good, bad, right, wrong. It just knows this is not our normal. So when you're trying to do something new or entertain the idea of something big and new and scary, primal brain is activated and it will make you think things and feel things that are going to make you pull back and withdraw. That's its job. You have to know the difference, right? You have to be like, oh, stop. Okay, this is scary, but I'm excited. I know it's good. You have to know how to do that. And not everybody's there yet. Some people are very submissive to that primal brain. Okay. So in a conversation that's happening and it's scanning. And this is where people can break the sale because they can go into features, logic, bonuses, discounts, thinking, oh, this will get them where we need them to be. And the brain is not ready to even entertain the idea of what they're going to get because they can't even, right now, they're freaking out. Like they might not even verbally express it to you, but inside their brain is doing this. We need to be able to help regulate them, keep them calm, make it feel like a safe space, make it all about them so they can override that. Right? If you're instigating that, then internally they're having this dialogue, right? With their fight or flight mode, and they're not able to receive what you're saying to them. They can't be present in the conversation, right? So in this stage, your job is to help to regulate, be relatable, and build comfort. That's your job in this stage. So you'll do this by asking questions that are giving the buyer space to regulate. They're good, positive questions, easy questions, all about them. We give you all of the word track for this stuff. For each stage of the conversation, we give you the word track examples of different ways and variations to say the things or ask the things that support where they're at right now with this, right? Because you have to make sure they're regulated. The second part of the brain, emotional. Emotional. This is where we can build belief. Belief this is possible. Belief you can do this. Belief I can help you. Together we can make it happen. Belief that you can change the belief. If you can't, I say this all the time, if you can't shift the way that someone thinks and believes, you're never going to get a sale. They've got to shift the way they normally think and the way they normally believe about reaching the goal, overcoming the obstacle, and you being the person that can help them. They have to shift that. And in this second part, they're very emotional. There's emotions coming up, good and bad and all over the place. And in this part of the conversation, once the brain can feel safe, it will ask itself, can I see myself inside of this program or offer doing this work? Can I see myself running 5 laps every day with my life and the way things I've got? They'll start to question and look at their day-to-day, and they'll start to see, like, can I see myself doing this with everything else I have going on? They'll start to look at stuff like that. They'll ask themselves, well, does this feel aligned with how I want to be doing things? Can I trust this person to guide me? All of this is literally going on in that emotional space. As soon as you get them regulated and they're calm and they're talking, as soon as that first part of the brain is not in fight or flight, we move into activating the emotional. That's the next thing they'll do. Once they're calm and collected, they're going to get emotional. And it's just how our brains work. We start looking at finer little detailed things, the emotional side, like, well, I like to have dinner with my kids every night. What time are your calls? See, you'll get things like this. That's all emotional. They'll start doing that. And this is where that emotional connection can be formed between you and them, because this is where you can create relatability, close the gaps, show them what's possible, relieve this stuff for them and show them that they can do this, right? This is that belief, and you got to do that in this process, or they'll go back into fight or flight. And then, and this too is where you'll see people go from "this sounds interesting" or "wow, that sounds great, I love it," into "this is what I've been looking for. This sounds perfect. It sounds like exactly the perfect fit. Next step for me. Exactly what I need." You'll see the difference because they'll get excited. They'll go from kind of freaking and all of a sudden they're feeling really excited. So you want to ask belief building questions. That's the focus here at this part of the conversation, is just focusing on easy things for them that are about them that they can answer without feeling, super pushed. There's no pitch here. We don't want to even talk about your offer. You don't want to pitch. You don't want to do anything like that. Create relatability. Be vulnerable. Be emotional. Share your story. Share a client's story. Show them how, normalize what they're feeling. That's what we do, is we normalize it. We'll say things like, "Oh my gosh, totally get it. When I was on welfare, blah, 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 blah. When I first started, da, 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 da." When our clients come to us, that's our favorite statement. Because you don't care about me, but I can share about my clients because they're just like you. So I can say, "Hey, when our clients come to us, here's what they think, and here's what they feel, and here's what they were doing too. And now they're doing this. You got this. We got you. You're good." Normalize things. Ease their mind, right? In that emotional phase, that's what you can create. The third part of the brain is logic. I'm going to say 1000% of sales is emotion. And then later we reason with logic. We invest emotionally, and later we start to reason with logic. So once they made a decision, right? Once they're like, "Okay, this seems really good. This sounds like a perfect fit." This is where they're able to say yes or no in this logic part of the brain, because now the brain is like, "Okay, I feel good about this. You feel good. I just need to make sense of the next step, but I'm ready to say yes or no." And this is where you could talk about your offer, their personalized path, not your offer, but like what their path will look like with you. Here's the 2 or 3 things we'll focus on, and here's how those 2 or 3 things are going to help you reach this goal right here. Paint the picture for them, show them the path, show them the way, how you two are going to do it together, because they're ready to receive this now. At this point, they're ready and willing. They want to know this. What does this look like now? I am ready to make a decision. I just need to know what it looks like. And this is where the brain is ready and you can present the path for them. Your job at this stage, help them make the process for them, the path, make it make sense for them. You have to do a lot of gap bridging. So they're going to say, "Well, your way is this," for example. "Okay, and you have a buyer's list, but I could get sales without a buyer's list." You better show them how getting sales is much better, faster, easier with a buyer's list, or otherwise that's an objection for them. "I could just keep doing what I'm doing. I don't need a buyer's list to do it." Right? Or, "Well, I can keep going to the gym once a week like I've been doing. It's taken longer to get the goals, but I could just, just keep going once a week. I don't need to sign up for all this, a personal fitness coach and get in the Peloton. I don't need to do all this stuff," right? You better show them why they do. And so what we need to do is bridge gaps, because now it's going to be a question of, "Okay, this sounds really good, but can I just keep doing what I'm doing? Or this other person's selling a course on this thing right here, and it's only $97. Why don't I just try that first?" You want to bridge that gap on why your offer, your way, and their path with you is the next logical step for them, because this is what they're looking for, right? You don't want to overload them, and this is where people start to overcompensate. You're going to get this and this and this and this and this. 2 or 3 things. Based on what you and I have talked about, here's where we'd start. We build your buyer's list. We make sure that your conversations are buyer decision backed by psychology ready, and you feel really good about them. And 3, we're going to make sure that the content you're already creating and putting out is going to bring you high intent, high quality conversations consistently. So you feel really good about exactly what to do every time you get connected with a new possible lead. That's what we would sell. We wouldn't sell modules, features, bonus sections, all of this other stuff, because their brain can't consume it. The more you say, the more questions they have. The more you say, the more room you're creating for objections. Because then they're like, oh, I don't know if I really need that part. Wait a minute, if I pay all this and I don't need those things, can I just pay for these two? Now we've got all these objections. Just focus on what they said they wanted help with. Just focus on the parts of your offer that are going to get them that result. They'll get all the things when they get in, but you're going to guide them on these are the 2 or 3 things we're going to do together first. If other things come up along the way, great, we got you. But like, keep it simple, because our brains really can't, after like 2 or 3 things, we start to veer off, we start to lose focus, we start to get overwhelmed, and then we get into thinking, and now we go all the way back to primal fight or flight. We're right back there again. And so we really just want to keep things easy, and confirm that they're ready to choose what they've already wanted anyway, right? So a simple conversation. I want to give you an example. Like if I were to walk through survival, emotional, logic, it would be something like this. And I would start with survival, go into emotional, down into logic, right? So it would be like, for the survival, before we get into anything, can I just ask what felt heavy or what felt unclear lately and how you're approaching your sales? This is going to relax them and be like, they're going to ease into this because they're like, oh my God, let me tell you. And that's what we want. We want to just get them out of that fight or flight energy. Let's make it about you. Let's talk about you, right? That's an example of a question. And then moving into the emotional, we might say something like, what would need to feel different in your sales process for you to actually enjoy showing up for them again? And they're like, oh, if I could just not have to do objections, if I could just like only get qualified people talking to me. Oh my God, if I never had to do a sales call again, it'd be amazing. Like now they're getting into the happy emotion of like what it would look like if they didn't have to do those things. Or you might say, what do you want to feel more of? When you think about working with clients, bringing in new clients, growing your sales, now they're going to tell you the future. They're going to start emotionally telling you what their future looks like in their process for them. This is the state you want them to be in, because this moves them into them emotionally feeling, this is where I am, I don't want no more of this, and boy, do I want this right here. You need to get them in that place. You can't talk about your offer before they're there, right? Then coming down into the logic, this is a logic brain. So this is where they want strategy, tactics, details, stuff like that. Listen, if I showed you a system that's going to help you identify and work with the right leads every single day with a structure that fits your energy, your lifestyle, would that feel like something worth exploring? Right? Like I just personalized, made it about them. You're hitting the things that they're like, I don't want no more of this. I want more of this. Just insert those into that invitation. That ask is just a question. We're not selling you anything. I haven't pitched my offer. Just asking you a question if you feel like it would be worth talking about, worth exploring. And when you bring people down through this process, you're working with the buyer brain, not against it. This feels good for them. They feel like, wow, you are so nice, so genuine. I did not feel at all like you were trying to sell to me or be weird and pitchy, or like you made me feel really good. And actually, you asked me questions no one's ever asked me before. And it got me in such a state of like what things could look like for me and how this could be so different. And I'm so excited about that. That's the energy you want people to feel when they end a conversation with you, is like, you want them to say, I felt good talking to you. I felt excited. Like I had this whole newfound possibility of what's possible for me. And it was amazing because I felt like crap for the last year, right? Like there's all these things you want to bring up, all that energy, because now they naturally want more of that. So now they want to be in your space even more because they want to feel that all the time. They don't want to go back to their normal feelings. Now they want to be in the room with you and the people and feeling this energy and this empowerment and this inspiration every day, right? Okay, I would love to hear in the chat, when you think about, I don't know, think back to like your last 1 or 2 sales conversations. And do you feel like you kicked off the conversation? Do you feel like you kicked it off in the survival area? Do you think they were more in the emotional? Do you think they were in the logic? Like, where do you feel like you typically kind of open your conversations at when you guys are talking? I think, and for the replayers, just kind of think about that for a minute and ask yourself, like, have I been opening and kind of working my conversations in what part of the brain do I feel is usually most activated, and I'm in that space in these conversations. Yeah, Tanya said definitely survivor. Yeah, and it's always going to be there first, right? It's just like, can we say the right thing just at that right time that's going to kind of like, again, regulate their system and kind of bring that fight or flight down a little bit. It really just comes down to what, like how you say what you say. It can ease that for them and drop them down into that emotional state where we can then move them out of fight or flight. They're not going to entertain a conversation, and they're not going to be present if we're in fight or flight. We are in panic mode. We are in over obsessive mode. We're freaking out, right? Yeah, Tanya said, I find I trigger them. I feel like I've always triggered people, like way back in the day, because back in the day, I didn't know how to approach sales. And so when people would give me resistance, I took it personally and I'd get mad. I'd be like, I would almost come at them and like, yeah, call their baby ugly. I did a lot of that in the earlier years of the sales because I was like, damn it, girl. We just talked about the problem. You can see the solution. What's the problem? Like, and I would get so frustrated because I took it personally because I didn't understand they were going through their own. I didn't know how to sell, right? Like I was emotional and very attached to their decision. Like however they responded or reacted, or if they said yes or no or gave me objections, I took it so personal, like it meant something about me. And so I'd be very sort of aggressive, right, in my language and conversations, and it triggered people. It made them just, I can't do this right now, and pull back. And so that also is what helped me kind of create this process of like, this is not how we sell today to people. This, like, if someone did this to me, I probably wouldn't feel very good either. And that's where we really started to, realize the brain can only make a decision, yes or no, when it feels safe, connected, and clear, when it feels just like, this is great. I mean, we could think of many things over the years that we probably made a decision on that it was a big decision, but we made it really fast and clear. We were like, solid, this is it. And then there's other things where it's a lot of pondering and thinking and overthinking and obsessive. And it's usually due to some kind of lack of clarity or safety in that. We just need to have that certainty because that's the brain. The brain needs the certainty to leave you alone and let you make a yes or no decision without the fight or flight, right? Okay, so here's the action I want everyone to take today. I really want you to look at the leads, right, on your buyers list. So everybody should have added at least like 5 or 10 people, or you just grabbed and scooped up 5 or 10 people yesterday. And I want you to pick just one of these people. And then I want you to plan out what might be the next or even the first message that I might send to this person based on the 3 parts of the brain, right? What might I say to them as a first message? And I want you to think, what would make them feel really safe right now? Like feel safe, feel heard by you, feel seen by you. What belief or emotional clarity might be missing for that person? Like, what do you think might be missing for them where it's just like they need to have this belief, they need to shift this emotional clarity? And how can you bring the next step in after that? So I just want you to think, you don't even have to send this right away, but just play with the idea of what that message might look like when it comes from this place in support of the 3 parts of the brain in the order in which they are activated for each person. What might you say that would really support that and make someone lean in and be like, oh, this is really nice of you, and lean into a conversation? Just kind of play with it. You can send it if you want. Some of you have some leads that you're already in conversation with, and you might be able to go back and look at, what did I say and how did I say it? And what did they respond like, or did they respond like? Where did the combo go? How could I move it to the next part? How could I maybe shift the way that I was saying things and use this process and give that a try? So you guys don't have to send it, but I think playing with the idea a little bit of how you guys could maybe start talking differently to people is going to be a big shift. And just to share my screen real quick and show you guys as we wrap up too, one of the things we teach here in Sales Academy is the cold to client cycle is it's a science-based process. We have you take certain steps here, and within each step, right, like as soon as a lead comes into the top of your pipeline, Like, hey, brand new connection, how are you? There's steps that we take in order, and they go in the order you see them here. And within each one of these, there are certain actions and certain things that you're saying and doing that moves somebody from here to here to here to here, right down through the cycle, right? Until we make an invitation and they become a new client. And so there's a very specific kind of process that we take you guys through. And what we do is we have you set this up in whatever system you choose to use. We use GroupTrack. Some of our clients use GroupTrack. We can get you guys a free trial if you want to try it, if you come in Sales Academy. Some clients use a spreadsheet because that's all they can just kind of wrap their head around right now. Some people use a Trello board. There's all these different ways, right? It's not so much the system. It's just making sure you could you can execute the process easily every day and simply. And we have you plug right into this, the frameworks as soon as you guys come in. And then what we do is we share this word track guide. How many pages is it? 20. So it's 22 pages of human behavior, sales psychology, language. And we have every kind of message you could ever have, from a new connection, to either you accepted their connection or they accepted yours. Thank you for liking my page. Conversation starters. We've got, if you share a resource with them, following up with them. We have a very specific FU 10 times follow-up method. It's not actually FU, it's follow up 10 times, because in this market, 97% of all sales happen in the 8th to 10th follow-up. 97%. It's like all of your sales. So what we do is we give you this the FU 10 times method, which is exactly what do we say, what are we doing in all those 10 follow-ups, right? Are we just like, do you want to buy? Do you want to buy? Are you going to buy? Are you going to buy? No, of course not. Psychology follow-up. So we give you that. That's all in here. We have different types of sales call variations when we put them back in nurture. So when someone's not quite ready right now to buy today, you got to hold space and you got to keep proximity. That you need to be top of mind when they're ready. So they come to you, not someone else. So how do we hold the space? What is some language? If you're doing a free event, like a workshop or challenge, different invitations for that. We have a bunch of stuff for that. Follow-up replays. What do we say? You don't want to be like, hey, following up. In Sales Academy, we have a rule. We don't ever say the words following up. It's just against the human brain. We're like, really? What are you trying to sell to me, your offer? It's just not the language, right? Again, it's all in how you say things, right? Thank you for attending the event. And then we have group, if you have Facebook groups or anything like that, we have things. And then down here too, we have, if they're not engaging with your content or with you, then we have messages for that. We have direct invitations, okay? Those are so good. Those work so good. Love notes. I love these. These are like little love notes that you could just send once a month, every few weeks or so, to some of the leads that you're trying to keep proximity, but you're not trying to sell. It's not a matter of I need to sell to you. It's I need to nurture you. You're not ready yet. You're not quite there. We do what I call love notes, and those go well if you want to get proximity in conversations or DMs. People respond to these really well. So those are super helpful. We have 9-word emails, and we have what we call 5130 posts. Clients swear by these. They do. They work good. Like, they make money every time they send any of these. So these are just some things inside Sales Academy just that we're going to give you along with our frameworks, right? The qualifying, attracting the right leads with your content, qualifying conversations with high intent leads, moving those leads, nurturing those leads, converting those leads, and then closing the deal inside of conversations, right? All of this is going to come in. And of course, we're working on your skills, mindset, changing your relationship with money, all the beautiful things that need to come for these frameworks to work for you. And we also want to frame them for you. So we try to tweak them and make them your own. Okay, so let me go to here real quick, because I just want to show you guys again, just in case you didn't see this. We had a couple questions come through about this this morning, so I just want to cover it. So Sales Academy, it is a 5K investment, and you're going to get a weekly call. We do a call on Mondays. It's a combination though. It's not like we're not talking at you. There's a lesson and there's implementation, and we're doing it together. And then it's coupled with coaching because everybody has like questions about what we're implementing. We also do live real time like feedback and edits. So we'll audit, like if you're sending messages, we'll look at your messages right on that call and we'll give you tweaks and refinements so that you can execute quickly. Again, money loves speed. So that's how we host our calls. A lot of calls and programs are just a bunch of yapping and kind of teaching you a bunch of information, talking at you. And it's a bunch of like random questions. We are very focused on money. Is this going to help you make money today? Because if not, let's focus on what is, right? And we're always bringing you back to that. Again, you're going to have all of our swipes, templates, and these are not theory. These are not things we made up last week. These have been 25 years of literally swipe copy templates and frameworks that we have been executing inside our business, 6-figure businesses, 7 and even 8-figure companies with big sales teams. Across the board, we have been using these. They work phenomenally. We're going to help you plug into the systems and the frameworks so that your sales is what we call a machine. And if you think about a machine, what do? You turn the power button on, the gears turn, it outspits the outcome, the product, right? I think about my ex-husband who works in a machine factory where they make boxes. They turn the power button on, the gears all turn, and it spits boxes out all day with perfection, right? So I want you to think of your sales machine like I open the doors to my office, pop open my computer, I hit the power button to my buyers list, I implement the code, the client cycle, and boom, out spits sales. And I just rinse, repeat, and I do that. You want to look at your sales like a machine. We turn the power button on, gears turn, out spits the outcome. And that is really the goal. And to do that, we need frameworks and systems, and we need to simplify to multiply, right? We also know that you guys need guidance. You need real-time feedback. You need to say, hey, here's a DM I got. What do I say? How do I respond? Hey, here's a DM I'm going to send. Does this sound good? Would you change anything? Hey, someone gave me this objection. Is it something I did in my onboard? How can I avoid these objections, right? We also give you in the program our objection prevention method. So if you don't know this about me, I have a rule that it is not my job, it is not my responsibility, and under no circumstances will I overcome or handle anybody's objections. Objections are not ethical. People that have objections are not ready. Your job is not to get them ready. They're not ready or they wouldn't object. Objections and questions are two different things. Those are not the same things. People asking you questions is great. We want that. You don't want people giving you objections. And so I do not teach you guys how to handle or overcome objections. I teach you how to prevent them to begin with. Because if you're getting so many objections, why? So the question isn't how do I overcome them? It's why are you getting so many of them? And so we help you prevent them to begin with. Of course, if they come up, I'm going to say, okay, here's what you can say or do, but here's what we need to do so that doesn't keep happening, because that's not normal. Objections are not normal. They're common. And they're created by how you're selling to people. So that means if you change how you sell, you can stop getting those. And we don't get objections. Because people reach out when they're ready to buy. They ask questions and they're ready. And they ask us questions when they're like, I want to do this. I need to know more. I've got a few questions. Let's do it. They don't reach out, hi, Ann, I would love to, but. They don't, we just don't get that, right? That's part mindset, but it's also part strategy and how you create content, and how you show up, and how you invite people into the conversation with you. Right? If you're inviting people in, guys, if you're struggling, you guys, if you're sick of this, guys, if you just want this, guys, if you're doing that, they're coming in with that energy, right? So it's all in how you say what you say. And then the bonus is that this Friday, which we are super excited about, we are literally doing Sales on Demand live. So we're going to spend about 5 hours on Friday on Zoom. And we are all going to just be doing sales actions and activities. We're going to give you the actions. You don't even need to think about it. We're going to give you the action, and we're going to say, here's a template, here's a swipe, here's some variations of what and how you could go say it. Go say it to these people. And then we're going to be together. So as you are doing this, you can bring the questions that you have, like, Ann, what about this? I don't have those people. I have these people, or whatever. And in real time, we're going to massage your messaging and your actions so that you can participate and go generate sales on this call. Okay, so this is a half a day of doing this as a group together. It's phenomenal. If you join after, you will get the replay, but we would love for you to be there live if you can. The investment is $5,000 for the entire year. So you're going to get all our frameworks, all of our trainings in the portal. You're going to get a call every week with us. You're going to get hands-on coaching and feedback from us, but you're also going to get 2 onboarding calls. One where Cindy and I will help you go off and earn your investment back, hopefully more, but as quickly as possible. So within like 3-4 weeks or less, really quick. We're going to give you actions that 85% of our clients earn their investment back with. So there's a pretty good rate of that. We're going to have you do that. And then about 3 weeks later, we'll do a 45-minute onboarding call with you to map out, now that we've done the investment and you've got some quick sales in the door, what do we need to be doing ongoing, day in, day out, so that you're consistently closing 10, 20, 30, 50K months. The goal in Sales Academy is to get you from 10 to like 50 a month. That's the goal. And that means that we're growing and we can scale that, right? You can't scale nothing, but 10 to 50,000 a month. If you're generating that in your business consistently, you're ready to scale. Like, we got to take it up a big notch, right? So that's the goal that we want to get you to. Whatever your sales goal is, we want to map out the exact steps to get you there. What is it going to look like? What is it going to take? And then we also have a private portal where you'll get access to Sydney, but you'll also get weekly personalized private check-ins from Sydney. You'll get quarterly 90-day planning sessions with Sydney, so that every 90 days you are on a cycle that feels so good and aligned for you. So when I say that this is personalized, and this, like, yes, we have our frameworks and systems, of course, we have a way that we produce the results, but everything is personalized for you, right? So everything is going to be backed into how it's going to work for you, so it feels good for you. It's your business. And so there's hands-on, it's personalized. We work with you to shift everything so it feels like it's your own process, not ours. So it is definitely not a course. This isn't a self-study. It's not a, hey, welcome to the program, go dive in and get to train in and have fun. No, we guide you on where to focus in that curriculum based on where you're at and what you're trying to accomplish. So you are not alone trying to figure this out or guess. We remove all of that for you in Sales Academy. Cindy, any final words or anything that I missed before we wrap up?
All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. First of all, an email will go out in a little bit with the replay, either later this evening or first thing in the morning. You'll get that. Tomorrow is our final session. So we will be covering how to convert with a predictable sales process. So you're going from inconsistent sales to daily demand that you can control. That's that lever that Ann was talking about. No more random wins or dry spells. So we're going to lock in a proven daily power hour routine that fuels consistency. It fuels premium sales on demand. So you'll learn exactly what to track, how to move buyers without burnout, and you're going to walk away with your own high performance sales process that you can use immediately, and that you can use on our day-long sales sprint with us on Friday as well when you join us inside Sales Academy. Other than that, if you're not getting our emails, please let us know. We will make sure that you get all set with those. And that's it, guys.
Good.
Tomorrow's our last day, and then hopefully we're going to see everybody on Friday for our live sales sprint.
Yeah, so replay will go out in a bit with a replay page for yesterday and today, and any actions that we gave you guys. Questions, my Boxer link is on that page as well, but it'll be in the email so you guys can reach out. Get excited for tomorrow. We're going to actually take you behind the scenes of some of the systems that make all these frameworks and sales happen, which is beautiful. So you get a glimpse of what your days will look like. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys have any questions, Boxer me, let me know. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, everybody.